we've gauged that there's a lot of positive at Manchester United. So what about the bad egg at Manchester United?
There is one.
I'm looking forward to hearing this, actually.
There's
if
one
there is
extremely bad egg who I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I said he was tarnishing his legacy.
Bruno.
He's now tarnished his legacy fully at this club.
Bruno.
This egotistical prick in Cristiano Ronaldo. I'll try and keep it light. I won't bash him as a person too much, but I can't even begin to like the way everything was so positive yesterday. The vibes are brilliant. The crowd was good. Yes, I could hear the crowd was like Old Trafford was, on fire yesterday.
Especially on Amazon.
Amazon really, they're a great streaming platform. They honestly killed it, to be honest.
I've rung them up as well, actually, but
but Chaz, he had to make it the Cristiano Ronaldo show. He had to make it about himself again. And it was obvious. He's more than self-aware enough to know the name and the stature of who he is. Anything he does is going to get caught on camera. And he knew the cameras were panning on him as he left about 7 minutes early before the end of the kickoff. And I just can't believe he has the audacity to do that. Disrespect to Ten Hag is shameful. It's shameful, to be honest. It really is.
I think disrespect to the club.
The club, but
you're supposed to
I think to the sport.
Argue, for me, it's like, because obviously I've loved him over the years, my goat or whatever, and I've been saying that I'm becoming, or I became. I can't almost back it up. I can't find excuses, and if anything, when everything's so positive yesterday, he has an opportunity to show some of the fans that he's on board with his team, regardless of being on the pitch. He could be celebrating. You could see pictures with Ten Hag. He could bloody hug Ten Hag. He could do whatever he wanted. There's an opportunity there to be like, we're Man U, whoever. Like, I'm part of this, and I'm
to prove
backing it up.
And to prove a point that he still should be in the team as starting 11.
And I've heard he left the whole building. Did he? Left the stadium?
Yeah, I think he left Old Trafford.
Yeah.
And do you know what's funny? He's done
childish. It's really childish.
He's done that in pre-season against Rayo Vallecano. I think he got taken over half time. He's done exactly the same thing. And I feel sorry for Ten Hag. And Ten Hag, from his comment saying, "I'll deal with that tomorrow. Let us celebrate tonight," means that I know Ten Hag will bollock him. That's the thing, which is good. Yeah. I'm so glad he's not scared of this man, because he's a superstar at the end of the day. And the reason he felt like he could leave is because he is this superstar, this brand. This is Cristiano Ronaldo. He may believe he's bigger than the club. I don't know. He may
a lot of other players wouldn't even dare do that.
But I just think that what a way to tarnish your reputation with the fans after everything you've done in the past. Winning the three-peat of Premier Leagues, winning, Champions League, scoring Champions League finals, Ballon d'Or, got his first ever Ballon d'Or at this club.
Yeah.
And I just think that the only problem I've got, Ronaldo's got a very, very hardcore fan base. When I talk about CR7 fanboys, I mean not you, Chaz, just thinking he's the greatest player of all time. I mean, it's like a cult following, basically.
Yeah.
And on Twitter, I still see people, self-proclaimed United fans saying that it's so disrespectful to Ten Hag, making Ronaldo warm up 3 or 4 times and not bringing him on. That is what you call that is the best example of delusion.
Yes,
that is delusions of grandeur just there. Yeah, is in you basically, you see in the NBA a lot of fans they support players rather than teams sometimes at points. They support LeBron or Steph Curry, for example, or Kevin Durant. I think that Ronaldo's got such a strong fan base that they support wherever he goes. They support that club effectively.
Yeah, that is delusion, because you're taking out whether anyone thinks he's the best player, Messi's the best player. Forget all of that. Yeah. They're just saying, as a player, as a man, as a footballer, that he shouldn't have to do things that the others do.
That is like mental asylum levels of delusion. That is like actually mentally ill. But the thing is, I'll always respect Ronaldo for his career and everything he's done. He's, as much as I don't rate him as a footballer in his latter years, he's one of the greatest to ever do it. But I love my club more than him, by far. I don't care. He doesn't really have. And to be honest, he's kind of confirmed it he loved the club, but I think he loved Ferguson a bit more than he did United,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
And to be honest, his dream was to play for Real Madrid. He'd done that for nearly a decade. He didn't really love the club. The season before he left, he said that he felt like he was made to be a slave for United. So, and you know, he still celebrated by getting his abs out when he scored against us for Juventus a few years ago. Like, he doesn't really care too much about United. So why should I really have any kind of bias or love for him, really? So
Yeah.
it's one of them ones I just think, I can't believe he's done it. Is that really confirmed his days are done now? Like, his days are really done.
That's the other strange thing from his point of view. I know it's not in the moment. You could say he was frustrated or whatever you want to excuse him for, but he's distanced himself even more.
Yeah.
So now, like, if he was pissed off about not being in the team, well, he ain't getting in next game, is he? So, well, yeah, his days are done. His days are done at United. His days might have to be done in football sooner or later, because
the absolute cheek of him. Yeah. What about, he said he was going to come out with that interview after the transfer window. He said that he was going to come out and do a reveal all about what the press was saying about him.
Yeah, as if like it was all a lie. As if
we all know he wanted to leave. I don't care if everyone thinks the media are liars. They are liars at the best of times. Yeah. But we know he wanted to leave. Yeah. And the great thing about it is that, forget about his attitude, forget about his ego, everything we just saw last night. He's simply knowing he's finished as a footballer anyway in general. Yeah. And he got rejected by Napoli, Marseille. He got rejected, but we were whoring him out. Let's be honest, George Mendes was whoring him out all across Europe to try and get rid of him, yeah? And he couldn't find a single club noteworthy in Champions League football that actually wanted him as part of a project.
Yeah, because that's all, again, that's all that, you know, as much as I love him, like, that's all he cared about was finding a Champions League club so he could extend the record of the Champions League club.
Even his old club Sporting, Ruben Amorim said if they sign Ronaldo, he's quitting straight away as well, because that means he shows he has no control over their signings, and the club are just making these signings on a commercial aspect.
Yeah, I said it before. The only thing I could see it happening was going to the likes of America because it's commercially correct or whatever.
Just shows you how embarrassing Ollie was, that he was such a bitch to bring him back as well, because Ollie, you know what Ollie's like, the door's always open to players like Ronaldo, because Ollie wouldn't even park in fucking Ferguson's car park spot, for God's sake. This guy's, he's a beta male. He's a beta male, yeah? And the thing is, yeah, you see the way Ronaldo's bowing out now, he will be a GOAT, but he has definitely tarnished somewhat of his legacy in the game, no matter what happens from now. Whereas I see real greats, yeah, self-aware, well, a lot of self-awareness. I think Toni Kroos might be retiring sooner than people think, for example. I think as soon as his contract's done, he's retiring at Real Madrid. Benzema said the same thing after he won the Ballon d'Or the other day. Benzema will retire at Madrid. No going back to old clubs for, you know, reminiscing the old times and stuff like that. They know when they're, okay, my time is done. They're going to bow out on top, these kind of players.
That's true. That's true professionalism, you know.
That's proper, isn't it?
And they'll have respect forever, whereas someone like Ronaldo is tarnishing his career, and it's a shame to see. But
even
people are going to hold grudges for that.
Chaz, even the likes of Floyd Mayweather, I still respect him for. I know he's doing his exhibition fights now, for example, but I still respect him that he stopped at 50-0, done. My professional career is over. He'll always be now one of the greatest, if not the greatest, in his sport. And Ronaldo still has a place in the Mount Rushmore of greatest sportsmen of all time.
Yeah, because he's got a number of records. That's the thing.
Yeah, he has that place. It's just, it will always leave a sour taste in my mouth. And even your mouth, you haven't even got an affiliation to Ronaldo like I do in terms of him playing for your clubs and being successful at your club. But Ronaldo had a lot of respect from all fans all over the world. Yeah. And I think that really, really hurt it now. I really do believe that.
Also, I was like Charlie. My GOAT was Ronaldo, and it
can still be your GOAT.
Now, but now he's done that. I'm shifting towards Messi because I'm also looking at the player and their kind of the way they're behaving and their personality. And Messi is just there in the background, getting on with his business, and still performing at a high level. And he's not being childish. He's not throwing people under the bus.
Well, more so Mbappe is actually he's doing all of that kind of. Mbappe's showing the Ronaldo kind of antics.
Yeah, but I personally don't even really. I can make excuses for the performances, right? I can make excuses for why it's not working at Man U. And if you know, somehow got him into another, I know he's not going to get into another club, but you got him to somewhere else. But when he's doing stuff like that, what he did yesterday, there's not really any argument for it. So that's where it takes it out of.
But my last point is, Chaz, when I'm talking about his ability now, his ego doesn't match his current ability. His ego still stuck from 6 years ago around.
He believes he's still the best player in the world.
Yeah, he believes he's the best player on the planet. But unfortunately, opposition that he comes up against, I'm going to be honest, if we had a little insight into their team talks beforehand, whoever we're playing, whether it's Brentford, whether it's Fulham, the managers, the opposition managers will be saying, if you rough him up and get into him, you're going to have an easy day as centre backs these days.
Naturally, like he can't do, his body can't do it anymore. Like he ain't got everything that made him, everything that he worked to become the complete footballer or whatever. It's time. It's time.
So he gets bullied by most players these days, which is fine. But this just shows me overall the reason I always rated Messi over Ronaldo, and we won't get into that. We'll have a debate when both of these retire one day at the end of that. But
yeah, of course, we all know it. Well,
I think the point I was trying to make, and the point you two loved him so much by, is because he's an athlete, and he really just showed his pure athleticism to an optimum level. It's because he relied so much on his pace and power, and I can actually see that. I think it's obvious to see now he did, because now he doesn't have the fundamentals to fall back on. He's like technical ability and he's football brain and awareness. It just shows now how reliant he was on that pace and power.
Yeah, hit the nail on the head.
I said it about Mbappe, Chaz. I think he's exactly the same.
Yeah,
as soon as that pace goes,
you've said that's 100%, and that actually could be why I personally admired him more. It could have been that, because there's no doubt that Messi is so talented, if not the best, right?
Yeah,
in terms of talent, and that as you decline his talent, he's not actually going to lose the talent that he has.
No, Chaz.
But Ronaldo is losing because he hasn't got enough as higher talent. He's losing everything that he built to make him that level.
Exactly, Chaz. You could throw a ball up in the air at Dennis Bergkamp, R9, for example, now with big bellies on them now, and they'd still be able to trap the ball down with ease. That's how good they are, because they always will have that till the day they die, effectively, that kind of talent in them.
It's because talent is muscle memory and it's innate, whereas athleticism is something you have to do physically.
Yeah, and Messi was gifted by the gods, and Ronaldo had to work to try
So at optimum level, Ronaldo was better than Benzema, for example, but Benzema, his career graceful. He kind of grew more gracefully and blossomed better throughout his career because he was always better technically than him.
Yeah.
And I just want to get that across, that it's sad the way it's going out for Ronaldo. It needs to get resolved ASAP. And just to correlate back to United, it's a real, you've got to feel sorry for Ten Hag a little bit. It's another issue that he has to deal with, that he's a real hindrance to the dressing room and on the pitch, to be honest.
Because I do believe he can still get in players' heads and stuff like that. Having that sort of player there and causing these issues.
Everything that we said about Pogba and people used to scrutinize him for, Ronaldo's showing it completely. I just think that we need to act like he's not one of ours anymore. We really need to just isolate him and get rid of him in January ASAP.
Yeah, it has elements. The closest thing I can compare is from my own club is Aubameyang.
Exactly, perfect. I was going to bring that up actually. I was literally going to very similar.
Same sort of thing. I know he didn't walk out off, but turning up late and doing all
North London derbies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and obviously Aubameyang came. Well, it was in a video where he just joined, a clip where he just joined from Barcelona. He was saying that Arteta can't deal with big egos like me and stuff like that. And he needs kids to just listen to him almost effectively. But that's the way it is sometimes. If you want to gain respect as a manager, players that have been about and won everything, it's hard. These players, they don't respond well to new things, do they? They don't like new rules, new regulations. I feel like
exactly. And as much as he said that, and he said about the kids, the likes of the Granit Xhakas and stuff like that, they're doing the opposite, aren't they? They've bought into it. So
you'd be expecting the same from Bruno, for example, or something like that. Hopefully he can buy into this. He can be I'd love to be the first person to say, oh, he's changed my mind about me next season because he's completely, Ten Hag has switched his mentality and everything.
Yeah, choose the manager, not the bad egg.
Yeah, and it's just basically rest in peace to CR7. Really is what it's done. It's done. This was the nail in the coffin for me last night, and good riddance, mate. Good riddance. He's dead to me.
Well, that summed that up.